The ongoing trial involving Diddy Combs has stirred a complex and emotional conversation, not just within the courtroom, but on national platforms like The View. During Tuesday's episode, Sunny Hostin, who's not just a talk show host but also a former sex crimes prosecutor, weighed in on the harrowing testimony of R&B artist Cassie, also known by her legal name Cassandra Ventura. Hostin's insights added a chilling and thought-provoking legal perspective to what's becoming one of the most talked-about celebrity trials in recent memory. According to Hostin, Cassie's testimony paints a clear picture of long-term abuse cloaked in manipulation and power dynamics. Cassie told the court that Combs emotionally and sexually exploited her for years, abuse that, in her words, was difficult to escape because of love and fear. It's hard to really be able to decide in that moment what you need when he's telling you what he wants, Cassie stated, highlighting how deeply psychological coercion can blur the lines of consent. Hostin emphasized that Cassie's statements are textbook examples of victim grooming and trauma bonding, terms that might be unfamiliar to the average person but are crucial to understanding how abuse often unfolds behind closed doors. What's particularly troubling, according to Hostin, is how the jury appeared to process the testimony, or, in some cases, failed to. Hostin mentioned observing several jurors looking confused, possibly unable to comprehend why Cassie didn't just walk away. This is a frustratingly common reaction from those unfamiliar with the psychological chains that bind victims to their abusers. Hostin warned that this misunderstanding could be a critical hurdle for the prosecution, especially given the jury's composition, which is male-dominated. She expressed concern that the emotional and psychological abuse described by Cassie might not fully resonate with all jurors unless it's explicitly explained by a psychological expert during the trial. One of the most powerful moments came when Hostin drew from her own experience as a prosecutor to say, "I saw it clear as day." That's a heavy statement, one that speaks to how recognizable these patterns of grooming and control are to those who've worked with survivors. But her follow-up was even more important. "I don't think the average person would see that." That disconnect between legal experts, survivors, and the general public, or even the jury, could very well define how this case unfolds. Ultimately, Hostin's comments serve as a call to action for more education and awareness around grooming, manipulation, and coercive relationships. It's not enough to expect that everyone will understand the nuances of abuse just by hearing testimony. Legal teams must work harder to break these complex emotional patterns down in ways that resonate with everyday people, especially those sitting in judgment. And as the trial continues, the spotlight on this case will hopefully push broader conversations about what real consent looks like, how grooming works, and why survivors often remain silent or stay in toxic relationships far longer than anyone would expect.